today we are talking all about how to do wholesaling without cold calling. Yes, you can do it, guys. I ran this whole business without doing cold calling in the first 14 years of my business. So it's listen, cold calling is a pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it's not the easiest. It is extremely effective, but it is not the easiest way to get your first deal. So I want to share some ideas with you, and I'll give you a little journey on how I got started and how you can use certain tools today so you can do your wholesaling. Listen, let's be brutally honest. Some people just don't like cold calling. Honestly, most people don't like cold calling. It's tough, you get rejected, and it's very time consuming. And some of us are constrained with jobs, with other things. So I'm gonna give you ideas, tips, and tricks on how to do it. If you've decided, go, hey, I'm not a cold caller, I ain't gonna do it. And if you can do cold calling, I highly recommend it. But listen, you've got to be honest with yourself. If there's something you don't want to do and you're going to try to force yourself to do it and you know you're going to hate it, you're most likely going to fail at it. Ask me how I know this. So I'm going to give the ideas. So I'll take the first part of the segment. I'll go over that. And then my segments are pretty short on this channel. I do it by design so I can spend time with you guys and talk to you. And then we basically take questions from the audience. We take the one-on-ones. And then if we got more time, if you want to rap about other stuff, I'm wide open to it. So I'm a lot looser on this channel because I want you guys to get to know me, Rick Ginn. So a lot of you know me as the father. A lot of you guys know my son. And this is a way I can connect with you, know a little bit more about Rick. I do other things besides wholesaling, but honestly, I really do love wholesaling. I'm not gonna lie to you. So that's why I'm on this channel. So what we do is we provide you a free course, not only for you to get your first deal in wholesaling, but you can also easily with this course earn your first 100 grand. And the whole thing is free. It's accessible to everybody. So go to freewholesaling.com. I'm going to put it up here. If you want to know more about this course, it's 100% free. Go on there. I put my 20 years plus experience and I documented the whole thing and I show you how you can get a deal. And not only did I do it, my son that's going on a 6 year of wholesaling started when he was 16. He's going to share his journey on there and you'll see the same synergies, guys. Wholesaling is not complicated. We as humans make it very difficult because we try to take our old mentality of thinking and apply it to modern day wholesaling and it doesn't work. So if you have an open mind, you'll bury your ego and you're tired of gurus pulling smoke over your eyes. Free wholesaling is the place that you want to go. Go check it out. I promise you, you won't regret it. And guys, listen, if you enjoy the content today, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button. It helps more people just like you find this content so they don't have to go through the guru matrix and pay $10,000, $15,000 to find out they could have just came here for free. And once again, if you really, really enjoy this channel, do me a favor, make sure you subscribe to it. It makes a huge difference. And here's what I do. I release private content that I don't release on Flip with Rick. I don't release on my son's channel. And honestly, I don't release anywhere else. And you can only benefit. Make sure you subscribe so you know when it comes out. And I try to drop gems and bombs as they become relatable. And what I do is I'm always working on real estate deals and I share things that worked. And more importantly, I'm going to share things that don't work. And hopefully you don't have to make the same mistake I did. You are going to make mistakes in wholesaling. That's the only way you learn. So anybody who thinks they're never going to make a mistake, get out of wholesaling right away because it's impossible. But mistakes are actually how we learn. In school, you guys were taught otherwise on that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and that's it. And guys, let's see here. So like right here, I'm just here to tell you, and Chris is brutally honest and I appreciate this because so many times, listen, I'm a huge advocate of cold calling, but I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't do it till my son came into business and forced us to do it. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite and tell you I've made hundreds of thousands of calls. I haven't. Never liked cold calling. I hate getting cold calls. I'm just brutally honest with you. Now, my son, he'd call a million people. It doesn't even faze him. And that's why we were such good business partners. So learn from this live. If you have a friend or a partner wants to get into wholesaling and they love cold calling and you hate it, sometimes they are an ideal person to work with. Maybe not a partner, but maybe you can partner up with them. And it was the perfect match because I had the knowledge, my son had the energy to call, and we found tons and tons of deals. I provided the list, I did everything. I just didn't want to make the calls. So a lot of you fall into this trap where it says, I'll just hire someone to do the cold calling. And we're going to talk about that today because if you've never made a cold call and you don't understand it and you hire, you're most likely going to get killed because you don't know how to manage these people. And that's the biggest thing as gurus, go out and hire people to cold call. Well, if you don't know the right list to pull, you don't know how to keep up with the KPIs with your cold calling people, you are going to get worked. And for that reason, I'd rather you at least figure it out within your business first before you hire. So many people jump in this business, they think they can just hire it out. It is challenging, and I'm here to talk about it. So, Chris, I appreciate your honesty. I'm just like you. So this show, if you're thinking that way, I want to share this with you today because so many people think you can only do cold calling or SMS. And don't get me wrong, those are highly effective. But if you don't like it and you're brutally honest with yourself and you know you're going to fail doing it, let's fix it. There's a million ways to do this business. There's not just one set way. Guys, I made my first $1 million with never making a cold call. And if you want, I'm going to dive into it now and go through it with you. So, let's see here. Man, these weeks get like shorter and shorter as I get older, but it is what it is. So, so guys, if you want to get on the one-on-ones, I'm getting close to capacity. If you jump on probably in the next 5 minutes, you'll be good to go. So I'm going to go through this and then we'll jump on the lives and answer the question. So number one, I want you to understand, I built not only $1 million business, a multi-million-dollar business, never making a cold call. Now, am I a fool for doing that? Somewhat, because if I started cold calling back in 2003, it probably would have been a much different story than now, but it is what it is. We all have our separate journey, and I'm here to tell you, everybody learns at a different pace. So I started wholesaling when it wasn't wildly popular. There was very little education out there, and honestly, I had to pick my path to get leads. So I will tell you though, I had no problem door knocking. And as Chris said earlier, I was a face-to-face. I can talk to anyone belly to belly, face-to-face. On the phone, it's just a pain in the butt because it's not personable. People don't like it. And for that reason, I always had an issue with it. Now, I don't have as big of an issue, and if I was going to start over today, I probably would have a different mentality. But I'm here to tell you, if you've just said, listen, I ain't doing it, either find a partner that loves to talk to people, or I want you to use one of these strategies until you find somebody that can help you out with it. So if I can do $1 million easily in assignment fees without ever making a cold calling, I promise you can do the same, but you're going to have to put some work into it. So remember, I did this with no cold calling. I swear I did. I promise you, honestly, if I cold call, I probably would have made $4 million in my first year or two. But honestly, I did not have the capacity. I was just trying to change my 9-to-5 thinking. So honestly, it really worked out better for me this way, because even if I made $4 or $5 million, I probably would have done something stupid with it anyway. So I just wish I started earlier. So I'm here to make this statement. You ready? Cold calling is not the best way to get your first deal. I know that's a controversial subject. Is it the best way if you have very little money and you don't have a car? Probably. But the reality is, it's not the easiest way because you have to make thousands of phone calls on average. And number two, you really don't know how to talk to people real well. So a lot of the cold calling, you're trying to convince people that really don't have a lot of motivation. And for that reason alone, it makes it very challenging when you start out cold calling with little to no experience. Now, if I could show you a method where you could get motivated sellers contacting you and they actually had some sort of motivation, I'm here to let you know a little secret. It is a much easier conversation. Now, if you're doing cold calling, I don't want you to cut it out. That wasn't my goal. But you've got to understand what goes on with cold calling. And while we're talking about cold calling, I want you to understand this. Cold calling is not free. It's actually the farthest thing from it. And I will debate that if you did direct mail over cold calling, direct mail is probably cheaper in the long run. And I'm going to tell you why, because I have the data to support it. Number one, cold calling, you have to skip trace every single phone number. On average, 12 to 15 cents. Do the numbers, okay? When you're talking about, so if you want to do, say, 25,000 cold calls in a month, which honestly, you need big numbers, but let's just say 20,000, okay? And then times, guys, that's $3,000 in data fees right off the bat. If you have like listrei.com, maybe it's another $100, you're at $3,100. You know, so you only get 10,000, so you have to pay extra for that. So you're going to be around $3,200. So it's not free. And then if you use a multi-line dialer, that's another couple hundred more bucks. You're going to approach like $3,500. I want you to understand it is not free. And keep in mind, if you're going to pay someone the cold call, double the number again. So that's going to put you around $6K. I don't know why people think cold calling is so cheap. It's not. Now, if you're doing it yourself, you're pulling a list, doing all that stuff, knock yourself out. We're not talking about that. I'm here to tell you, cold calling has an expense. Now, the good news with cold calling, you only got to get the phone number one. That's the great part. Then you got to go through all, are they on the do not call list? Is somebody going to sue me? And you get like nasty people and you waste a lot of time on it. So the reality is 98% of the people you cold call, they don't want anything to do with you. And that's the reason why I hate cold calling. If I was starting out with nothing, I would do it because I wouldn't have a choice. But if you have a choice, I'm going to give you some options here. So we've already established with cold calling. By the way, I'm going to go over some other alternative sources. So say I'm not, okay, Rick, I've eliminated cold calling. I don't have a phone. I can't do it. I just have a cell phone. I don't want to mess with it. what do I do? Number one, and I'm going to do these in order of importance. Number one, reverse driving for dollars. So first thing I would do is I would just go out and do a driving for dollars and put a list together. I still love that. And honestly, if you hired me, which nobody hires me because I don't let people hire me, is if you said, hey, Rick, come to my market tomorrow and spend 2 days with me, probably the first 4 to 6 hours, we go do driving for dollars. Why? Because I know I can get you leads right off the bat. I know I can do it. I can guarantee I can get it to you because you just need your eyes and hopefully a car to drive around in. And once you get those leads, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do a reverse driving for dollars. Or maybe I do it while I'm on the spot. And that's just the method of where we put a yellow sticky note on the door. Hey, Rick, I got a quick question about your house and a phone number. And then the leads call me in. And so if I put out 100 sticky notes and 15 people call me back, I just deal with 15 as opposed to being beat up by all the other 85 people that don't want to do business with me. It's extremely effective. I would also push that reverse driving for dollars to do my government list, my code violations, water shutoffs, fire damage, like go on and on with these lists, the eviction list, everything. Not so much the eviction list because they have tenants in it, but you guys kind of get my drift on it. To me, it is highly, highly effective. And when you start off, if you want to be highly effective and you only have a limited amount of time, the reverse driving for dollars, in my opinion, trumps cold calling on lead per lead. Here's the key with cold calling is you need a huge amount of volume and it's going to take you time to get experience. And eventually you're going to have to find someone motivated that you can overcome your shortness of experience. That's just the truth. And some people told me, Rick, I don't want to do it. How do I do it? Right here, guys, reverse driving for dollars is a huge game changer. If I dropped in any of your markets, I promise you, all the tools I have, all the resources, I would go straight driving for dollars with reverse driving for dollars. Why? Because it works. Number two, SMS. It just works. Like it is. So in my opinion, SMS, now it's not free and there's a lot of variables in it and you got to learn how to do it. Go over to freewholesaling.com. We teach the whole thing and it works really well. The key with the SMS is what I love about the SMS is you can actually, you ready for this? You can actually scale it. It is the number one most scaling outside of direct mail and it's right up there with direct mail in my opinion. And if you guys want to learn how to do it, we have an all-in-one platform, smsac.com. Check it out because it allows you not only to use AI in there, you can avoid the Twilio and you have to do all these EIN numbers to set up. And honestly, in my opinion, it is the best way to do it. I'll share that with you guys in a little while, but I love SMS because it works. It works really well and you got to stick to it. But it is a process. There is an expense to it. It's not free. But if you don't like cold calling, I got SMS. I'm telling you, you're crazy if you don't do it. I love it. Why? I want you to think about this. It's the only one I know where it's like, I don't have to deal with people and then I can sort. So I can sort through much bigger numbers. Why? Because I'm only dealing with the people that want to take it to the next level. And the whole goal of whenever you do SMS, hands down, is take them from a text form and get them on the phone. That is, you can't close them via text. It's very rare. I've done like 2 deals my entire career in 20 years. Guys, that's a lot of years. Like you're averaging 1 deal every 10 years via text only. So make sure you understand you have to convert them from text to phone. If everybody could sell their house on a text, they wouldn't need any wholesalers in the world. And I'm here to tell you, you got to make sure that you understand that. So my third one, you guys know I love this to death, is direct mail. Listen, direct mail is not for everybody. But if you're busy and you don't like calling thousands of people and do all this stuff, direct mail is effective. The challenge with direct mail is you have to be patient and you have to be disciplined. And if you're not either one of those, don't do it because it's not I send out mail, I got a deal and I'm one and done. And I help people all the time with direct mail. By the way, I do it for free all the time. And here's the one thing I do. I make them come up with a marketing schedule and we come up with a forecast. And I tell them we'll review it once a quarter. Do not call me every day. Do not call me every week because that's what weak people do. Disciplined people understand this is going to take time. So let me ask you this. If you were going to build a house and after day 4, you go to the contractor and go, why is the house not done? He's going to look at you like you're crazy. That's how I look at people in direct mail when they ask me some of the crazy questions. You've got to understand that direct mail takes time. And if you are not patient with the time on it, it will never work. This is the secret. I see people posting all the time on our forums, on our live streams, and I see it in a lot of other people's is, I tried direct mail, it failed. If you try direct mail, I guarantee you it will fail. It is a long play. It's patient. It takes about 3 months to really cultivate your first deal, and direct mail builds. Now, the beauty of direct mail, it's extremely scalable because they're calling you in and it's highly effective. I'll even tell you this, direct mail is so effective, you could go to a full-time job and run almost a full-time wholesaling business if you're okay talking to people after hours, and you can get somebody helping you answer the phones while you're at work, or if you can take the call while you're at work. I did that for 6 months, by the way. It's highly scalable because you can send out thousands and thousands and get it done. And I'm telling you to work. Now, is it going to cost you? Yeah. On average, it's going to cost you about 55 cents a piece. So if you mail to 10,000 people, that's $5,500. So if you were going to do mailing and you're going to say spend $5,000 a month, you have to commit $15,000. Now, here's the good news. After 3 months, if you do direct mail correctly, it typically pays for itself for the rest of your life. But you're going to have good months. You're going to have bad months. That's why you have to look at over 3 months. Now, my average direct mail piece, I earn about $36,000. I will average between 2 and 5 deals a month. Sometimes I get 0. It's an average, guys. The key word here is it's an average. I've been doing direct mail for 20 years. I learned early and I stuck to it, and I learned all the games that are played in it. And if you want to learn more, I'm going to put it on the bottom here. Then this is 100% for free. Is you want to go over to Mailing Mastery. I share everything I do on there. And guys, if you don't want to do cold calling, you're going to have to spend some time and educate yourself. I could easily sell this course for like a ton of money. I'm here to tell you guys, it works. I use a special postcard called ROS. I go into full depth. I don't have enough time to explain it on this live. You're crazy if you don't do this. I think it would be huge if you understood that. So let's get back to what we're talking about. We're getting close to wrapping up here. Now, I love direct mail. I think you should get a couple deals on your belt before you do direct mail, especially if you're on an extremely limited budget. I'm going to let you in a little secret. Most gurus that are going to pay a course for you, they go straight to direct mail. You know why? Here's the secret. It's really easy for them. Doesn't cost them a dime. You get faster results, and then once you get a deal, you're off the guru's back. But the reality is, if you can learn to do deals without any money or like cold calling, you're actually a more effective wholesaler in the long run, in my opinion. So if you don't have time and you're extremely limited, you hate cold calling, you should seriously consider direct mail. But understand, you have to be educated to understand it. Everybody sells you a course on direct mail. They're all snowing it over your eyes. I'm just telling you, it's not complicated. You just have to be disciplined, and you have to be patient, and you have to set some money aside to do it. And I'm telling you, I would still going to focus on the core list that me and Zach teach you. So let's go to the next one. Doing social media deals. Guys, there's a code word that's been all over the internet about this over the last few years, and they act like they own the phrase. A $0 method is, I've been doing this since 2006. Facebook groups, Craigslist, you name it. Craigslist, Facebook Lace. You can even use Instagram. You just go in the groups that you're already affiliated with, that you already have some sort of credentials through organic interactions. And then once you get in there, you can, okay, let's let you know, guys, let you know I buy houses all the time. I don't really care what condition is. If you need to sell, I love to work with people that love dogs in this group. It's organic and people trust you automatically. Doesn't cost you anything to do, but you do have to post. You have to spend time doing it. I've done this since 2006. So I love when a guru tells me, Rick, I started this in 2017. I go, I did in 2006. I have all the documentation. Go ahead and try to trademark it. I'm going to laugh all the way. You can't trademark it. I'm tired of people trademarking stuff that's been around. Cold calling's been around forever. Door knocking's been around forever. Maybe AI is like the newest thing and everyone's going to try to trademark it. But I'm here to tell you, going in these social media groups and being organic of people that you've already have an established trust is huge. Now, what you can't do is join the group the day. Like we have about 500 people every day tries to join our group. They don't read the rules, and right off the bat, hey, if you want to trade digital coins, or you go check out this guru, you won't be disappointed. Boom. It's a real challenge because number one, you're going to get kicked out of the group. And number two, it's called spamming and nobody wants to hear about it. And I'm telling you, if you do that, you're wasting your time. So you got to do the social media one right. If you want to learn how to do it, go over to freewholesaling.com. We pick that up all the time. The next one, the Chat GPT, using Chat GPT to write ad copy for Craigslist and Facebook groups. I gotta be honest, it's phenomenal. We're still in the infancy stages trying to figure it out. I will give you feedback on it. Here's the one thing is I don't promote things to you guys unless I have proven it in my own business model, because then I'm just chasing around shiny objects. So I'm a little bit more adept than most of you, but like we test this on a daily basis and we've had some great results. We've had some mixed results. So the jury's out. I will tell you, you want to get on this. ChatGPT will help you write your ad copy a heck of a lot better than you're ever going to do it. And it is more valuable to anybody who is inexperienced in doing wholesaling. So if you don't know the lingo and stuff, you can ask GPT and just keep reiterating it to make it better and better for you. And then as usual, you guys know I'm going to the government list. The government list or any list that you can pull from your county level, the pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, the probate list, the tax delinquent list, the evictions, the probates, and then we jump over to the fire damage properties, the water shutoffs, code violations. Guys, these lists, they are the number one reasons why me and Zach's group at freewholesaling.com and Flip with Rick has more testimonials than any other guru out there. Like I will put it up against anyone. Guys, here's the best part is we don't even ask you for the testimonials. So do you know, like when you get, if you guys ever look like at an Amazon product and you see like 3,000 people bought it and it's like 4.7 stars out of 5, it makes you feel a lot more confident about it. And it's the same way with us. As opposed to the gurus who use these paid services, like I'm not going to use names, but there's paid services while you're looking at it, they go, oh, so-and-so just bought and so-and-so just bought. Give us a 5-star review. It's all fake. It's all paid for. You've got to get the truth. How do you get the truth? Find someone that organically is telling you what's going on in the world of wholesaling and get the truth. We are the number one reason we drive most gurus crazy. Number one, because they're all lying to you. That's why they're driving you nuts. If they just tell you the truth and help you out, then maybe they could form a product that could actually charge for you that would help you out. I've yet to see one in wholesaling that actually works, because it's bad enough that you have to pay $10,000 or $15,000 to learn wholesaling. It's at that price is ludicrous, guys. I'm just telling you, it doesn't even make sense to me. So don't fall for it. So the government list, and don't forget paid list, listrei.com. Zach Data, like all that stuff, batch prop. We don't believe in being married to one vendor. Like we like to give you guys choices because some people like this, some people like that. Some of you guys like to do more skip tracing with the cold calling, you use batch. Some like the simplicity of PropStream, and that's why you use listrei.com. And that's why we give you options, because if I just cram one down your throat, why do you think every other guru only gives you one option? Because they're married to that person. They promised they would promote the heck out of it. I don't care. Honestly, you don't even need them. I went the first 3 years in this business without using any type of list service at all and made over $1 million. So I'm going to keep reiterating. I made $1 million just like you guys did, with absolutely no cold calling. So if you have an issue with cold calling, I am here to tell you, don't worry about it. With the biggest struggle I see with cold calling, I'm just here to tell you, is you guys listen to so many gurus, which most of them are going to be fake, and they tell you to go hire a VA to do your cold calling. Well, here's the problem. If you've never cold called, all of a sudden the VA starts selling on you why you need to hire them and these amazing results you're going to get. And you're going to find out within 30 days, it rarely works out. Why? Because the VA, here's the reality, is they're going to take advantage of you. I'm sorry. They've done it to me 1,000,000 times. I let them, and I'm here to let you educate yourself. Either get someone that's highly experienced in the United States to help you out with, or do it yourself, or use one of these other methods I just showed you so you don't drive yourself nuts. The last thing I need, we already have a 90 to 95% failure ratio in wholesaling courses. And the reason is everybody makes it like it's so easy. So when you hire a VA and they go, I'm going to make 10,000 cold calls and I'm going to knock it out of the park for you. And then 2 weeks goes by and then every lead you're calling on, they're just like, I didn't tell her I was going to sell. She just told me to talk to you. After a while, you're going to put 2 and 2 together and go, man, I'm not getting anywhere. So do you know the tools to make sure they're actually making the calls? You should have some sort of screen recording tool. You should have a recording of every call they make if you're going to use a VA, because here's the reality. Most of them aren't going to call. I'm sorry. They're going to lie to you, and their goal is to milk you as long as they can until you find. So most wholesalers quit with VAs on cold calling within 90 days. Most of you guys give up after 30, 45 days. And I'm here to tell you, give yourself a reality check. Instead of doing all that stuff, maybe you can find another alternative way that you can take some inbound traffic so you don't drive yourself nuts. You have options. I like cold calling. I love it. It's not my DNA to do it. That's why my son brought it into our business. And honestly, if he didn't educate me on how to do the cold calling, I would have got killed on it. So Most cold call centers, they pop up, they close down. Like, it's ridiculous. And most of them are backed by a guru, and most of them know you're going to quit within 90 days of doing it. So guys, it's not the worst thing in the world if you don't do cold calling. I've successfully survived, and I would have survived without my son, although I would have missed out on some big, huge opportunity. So